Esmeralda. Welcome to my YouTube video today. I'm actually going to be reviewing and giving you guys my thoughts as well as a little summary about this particular book. I'm actually very surprised about this book. This book is actually Heart of Iron right here. And this book actually came in our March subscription for our Owlcrate box. Also in our box, we did receive a poster basically for some of the characters, as well as a card and basically just a couple of words from Ashley Poston. I hope I'm saying her name right. The author. And of course, she did give her own little interview or whatnot about it, because this is going to be basically a book series. This is the very first book, and then there's going to be a second one being released, I'm not sure soon, but I'm actually very intrigued to find out when that's going to happen, because I think I'm going to want to get it. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I know I have mentioned this in my Owlcrate unboxing for the March box. I was really a little iffy about the whole theme because I'm not much of a sci-fi galactic type of situation there. Like, I'm not into those kind of books. But this one really blew me out of the water. Like, I have a whole new, I guess, perspective and idea about this genre, and I'm actually very intrigued to know a little bit more about it. If it wasn't for Owlcrate, I probably wouldn't have dipped into this type of genre, to be honest with you guys. But that's what I love about Owlcrate. It's not a book that you usually would probably would pick up. Sometimes it is. They'll pinpoint a couple of genres and basically add that to the subscription each month. So it's kind of like a little surprise, you know, and the theme always changes. So I really like that about it. So the one thing about this book you probably would notice, especially if you have not received the Owlcrate subscription, but you did somehow pick this up either at your local library or possibly, I don't know, at your bookstore, somewhere where you actually buy the books. The only thing difference Owlcrate does do is they try to get the publisher to give us an exclusive cover for the subscription box. And I'm really excited about it because it's like a special edition just for subscribers. Which, by the way, if you don't know about Owlcrate subscriptions, I will post that down below if you're interested in finding out more about it. But this video is more about this book here. One thing you guys will see, the exclusive cover of this one is actually, instead of white letters, they're actually yellowish, kind of like a mustard color. And same with her name right here. This would actually be more of the mustardy yellow color, but instead they're white. So it's kind of like they just changed the color of the wording. But that's basically the only thing different. Also, Owlcrate has been doing where we get a signature from the actual author where she signs the book. So I'm really loving this. Which of course this is always going to be in my bookshelf, not for sale kind of thing. You guys, this was a wild ride, and I mean wild. Like, it was out of this world. Now, it did pick up pretty quick. I know sometimes they'll tend to give us something like this, a little snippet or little poem that relates to this actual book. And I don't understand. Like, I really don't. Like, I usually get that and I'm like, what does that mean though? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it yet because I haven't read the book yet. But when you read the book, you'll be like, oh, everything really makes sense, and I can definitely appreciate it. Now, with this particular book, they do have sections. I guess you could say they are chapters. So they will, and they're pretty long chapters. Like, this one would be chapter number 1, Iron Thief. They'll have another one, which is chapter number 2, Iron Ships. Now, within these chapters, it is more like a couple characters from different perspectives. So, on these characters, well, at least 4 of the main characters that you're probably going to be seeing a lot more, which are actually in this particular poster, right here. I at first did not know who was who, what was what, but after reading the book, I basically know which one's what. This was an artist who actually depicted these characters, but this is Anna. She is actually one of the main characters, the very top characters from the book. I'm not going to tell you who this one is, as to not give any spoilers or anything like that, but as you read more towards the end of the book, you'll know who that character is. Then you have Jax here, right, and he's supposed to be a Solani, basically someone who sees the stars and on people, basically kind of like a, not premonition, but you know, someone who basically reads your I don't know, fortune or something like that. Like, they can do stuff like that, and they rely a lot on the sun and the stars. But he, in particular, is basically one of the main spaceship drivers or persons who basically navigates it. He's the main one. And then you have Rob here, who came from a very high lineage of very important people, basically, in Nevaeh, which this is actually Nevaeh in here, if I actually understood the whole thing, because again, there is a lot of things. I feel like if I read this 2 to 3 times, I'm gonna grab more and more information on it, which I love the whole name of Nevaeh, because Nevaeh spelled backwards is actually heaven. So I thought that was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. But anywho, but on top of those 4 main characters, there's also other characters in here. Some of the ones that you are going to be knowing, again, is going to be that Anna. Captain Siege was the one who found her, and D09. D09 is actually a robot. Which turns out to be someone that Anna really emotionally loves. She's basically fallen in love with this robot, and she wants to really help him out because his microchip or his hardware is basically starting to break down, and it's glitching a lot, so they need something to fix it. And the only way to fix it is by basically getting the coordinates to an area where they hopefully will find information on how to fix D09. Now, I want to say they spelled it D-I, which I want to say D. That's the way I want to call him. But D is basically that robot, and this is just about them to basically trying to figure things out when it comes to his glitches and trying to have solutions and whatnot. But they both were found by Siege, a ship captain. And this is, again, a spaceship captain. And she basically, her hair will turn red, and it's like really cool. I love the way that they depicted her. Also, she had found them and basically added them to the ship. This ship is basically full of misfits, if you will. The universe don't really care for some of these outlaws or whatnot. Just think of a pirate ship, but think of it in more of a spaceship kind of term. So you will know more from that, which is where Jax basically is the one in charge of driving and navigating the spaceship in various spaceships. He's like very knowledgeable about that. But he's more in tuned about that. And then they go on a mission to do something which their captain didn't want them to do at the beginning, and that led to repercussions. And of course, it was like a domino effect. And within that, they ended up bumping into Rob, which he actually had some of the coordinates. He had the coordinates. And yeah, it's just basically how he ended up on their ship and how they traveled into this unknown area and all the adventure that started from there. It is jam-packed with adventure, so much information. This is definitely not a book that's going to be slowing you down, like that you feel it's going to be kind of like slow pace, you know, to catch up. No. This goes straight into the action, straight to it. It's just like kind of blowing you away. Now, the first chapter is a lot about learning about these characters, which you're slowly going to learn about them. But once you get to know them more and more, you're going to see from their perspective how they viewed basically what was going on. So you're talking about a good 4 to 5 people, their perspective on basically how they saw the situations that were playing out in front of them. It gets very crazy. I do gotta admit, and I hate to have to even mention this because we live in a world where not everyone is as open as probably how I am or other people are. But if you are somewhat homophobic, this is not a book for you. I wouldn't recommend you to read this one because you will go in very biased about it. One thing I do gotta admit is I really do love the diversity in this, which is actually what makes this book, to me, how I feel. I think this is what makes this book work. It's the immense amount of diversity, not only with love, with skin tones, with just how people are, you know, as well as their personalities. It's just so diverse, and it's just definitely gosh, I really enjoyed this book. I really did. I didn't think I was going to because of the sci-fi galaxy kind of theme, but you guys, this really wheeled me in. Like, I was like, oh wow, this is really intense. So yeah, so if you guys want to know what happens to Anna as her adventure unfolds, as well as some very like, oh my gosh, there is moments where you're gonna be like, what? Like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. because I've read so many books, there is some things that I'm like, oh, I kind of would have thought that was going to happen. But there was a lot of things, especially the ending, where I was like, I was not seeing that coming at all. Like, I was getting some hints, but I didn't want to believe it. You know how sometimes you play it in your head how you wanted the book to end? But no, it went a whole other direction. I really do appreciate that though, because I feel like that's how books should be, very unpredictable, as best as they can. And Ashley Poston really did a great job. I'm not sure if I'm butchering her name, and if I am, I'm so sorry. But this book is definitely going to be a book that's going to go down in history for me, because I feel like this book definitely wheeled me into the sci-fi galactic kind of theme genre kind of stuff. So I definitely love this. And again, I mean, this kind of basically sums it up. Outcast, rogue, orphaned, rebel. This is basically it. Like, that is it. Of course, there were so many people who've actually commented on this as well. And I love about this book, which, before I forget, before I end this review, I do see this right here. This is basically the cover, the actual cover without, without the dust cover on it right here. I think it's really pretty simple. Definitely love the edges of this book, you guys. Like, if this could just, there you go. I really love this, you guys. Like, I love the color. It's so beautiful. It's just like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Okay, but anywho, the wording is pretty much just basic wording right here, just to show you guys. It's pretty, you know, pretty basic to what it is. And like I said, this is cut up into chapters. There isn't a whole bunch of chapters, but each chapter has a section of each perspective of a particular individual. Like, Anna would have it in her perspective, and she's talking about what she's seeing, and then right afterwards, you know, it leaves with like Jax, what he's thinking, what he's doing. But it definitely flows. It gives you a perspective of how everything basically is going around, basically the flow and everything. And this is Ashley Poston right here. She is the author, so this is her. Okay, now one thing about this book, if you are an e-reader, you can get this as an e-book, because I see it here. It's letting you know basically that they have it available as another option as well, if that's something you would want to see. But yes, overall this book is fantastic, you guys. Like, I really love this book. It was such an adventure, and definitely if you're into pirate style stuff but in space, this would be something that it would be your cup of tea. It really would. And it is just a big adventure of just how Anna gets into these things, and how the captain and her crew had to go through this huge situation going on. It just basically builds up, and everything is to basically try to find D09, basically to fix his glitches. And throughout that time, Anna finds out something very important about her life, that she didn't know, basically didn't even know. So yeah, that's basically gonna sum it up without me having to say way too much about it. But you guys, if you guys are really looking into even entering the whole sci-fi genre kind of thing, this would definitely be something that I would recommend personally. But yeah, I definitely give this book, actually I personally give this book 5 stars. Like, I really do. I enjoyed everything about it, even from how this book looks. Like, it is freaking amazing, you guys. But yeah, that's gonna conclude this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, definitely give it a like. Also subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And until next time, toodles!